Beach today, Deion Sanders.
One of the best to ever do it, whether it's talking or playing. Deion's double play debuts on ESPN January 31st. Can't talk to this guy enough. Let's get to it. Deion, was there a time in your youth at any point where Deion Sanders was shy? Because I know you were respectful. I know you wouldn't talk back to anybody. When was that period?
That's still to this day. You got to understand, like, I have a switch that God gave me that I can hit at any moment. So when I'm on TV and I'm giving you prime, but away from this, I'm really recluse. Man, I'm a country boy, man. I like to fish, and, you know, I'm real subtle. I'm real laid back. But in front of a camera, I know how to turn it on. That's the difference.
Can you tell me about the time you took a limousine to a game at FSU, your last year, when you knew I'm ready for prime time?
That was my last game. That was the curtain call. That was it. That was the last hoorah. How else are you supposed to depart? You're supposed to limo yourself. And don't forget the tuxedo. I had a tuxedo and a top hat, too. Yeah, that's the way I ended my career at Florida State.
That's exactly how it should have ended, too.
Right.
Can it be told now, all these years later, that last year, when you knew you were going to be a pro, you knew you were going to cash in, were you going to many classes?
Yes. I was going to the ones that I know that really mattered and would keep me and propel me and prepare me. Like to this day, no one asked me what's AY plus B equals C. No one has asked me that. I'm still waiting on the algebra questions. I'm still waiting on those type of questions. I'm still waiting on them. No one has asked me that. But truly, I believe in education. I believe it's the tools that spiral us into the next steps of our life. But no one has asked me those questions, and I'm still waiting.
Can you tell me your father's role in shaping you? What can you tell us about how your father helped you become the man you are today?
Well, I got to give you both of them. I got to give you my biological father, which is primetime. He is that guy. He is that personality. He is the quotes. He is the je ne sais quoi. He is that. And Deion is my stepfather, who worked from 9 to 5, who was always on time, who was adamant, who was a provider, who was real recluse, who was real laid back. Now, mind you, both of my fathers had substance abuse. One of them was alcoholic, one of them was a drug addict. But I could firmly sit in front of you today and say I've never tasted alcohol, I've never been high, never drank, I never smoked, never done either because of what I saw as a child and how that affected and infected them. So they played a major role in my life, good and bad. And they were great men. They were great men that loved me to life.
What can you tell me about how you were affected and infected by that as a child?
Just the consistency. It's hard to have those things that disable you and be consistent. And you got to understand, man, I was a kid that my mother worked her butt off. She worked 2 jobs, so she never saw me play ball. My mother never saw me play one game of baseball, football, or all-star basketball game was the only thing she saw me play in high school. So now you understand the self-proclamation. Now you understand the self-hype, the self-motivation. Because I had to hype myself. There wasn't no one there watching me, man. Not a soul. Not except for the homeboys and the homies and the girls that I was pursuing in high school, but no one was there to root me on. Now in college, my mama made every game she could, but in high school, never once saw me play.
People don't understand how hard you work, Deion. They think it's just gifted athlete stuff. They are not aware, I don't believe, that you were a worker. You were studying film. You might not know a wide receiver's name because you didn't care, because you were confident in your ability, but it's not like anybody was studying a lot more film than you were.
Right. It's so funny because this 30 for 30 that's going to premiere Super Bowl week, Super Bowl Thursday, I get on a jet, and I'm getting ready to go play against the Miami Dolphins. And if you miss it, you can't blink your eyes. But I'm sitting up there with a little VHS recorder that I always took with me everywhere. And I'm watching the Dolphins in the wee hours of the morning because that was the first time I got a chance to have a glimpse of them and prepare for that game to play against, you know, Duper and Clayton and those guys and that more, man. So I studied my butt off, man. I wanted to not just be great. I wanted to be the best ever. I mean, ever. And that came with preparation and work ethic. But I saw that. I saw that from my mama, and I saw that from my stepfather. I saw a work ethic that was undeniable.
Fill in the blank for me on these questions. The receiver I faced who gave me a little trouble was blank.
Jerry Rice.
That was just in practice, or that was everywhere?
That was Jerry Rice was a dog. He was the GOAT. He's the greatest ever. But don't underestimate Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, and all the dogs I played against, man. I played against some legendary guys. Not only had, and you got to hear this, not only were legendary themselves, but the guys I played against had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. How about that?
The cornerback who comes closest to being in the best ever conversation with me is blank.
That's hard for me to say, man, because there's so many are deserving. But I'm very fond. I can't. See, if I go down, you're going to get people upset.
You're very fond of who? You're very
Mel Blount. Mel Blount.
You're allowed to be fond of him. What happened?
Yeah, but you got to understand there was Night Train Lane. There was other guys that shaped this era and shaped the generation. I mean, Lester Hayes, Mike Hayes. I mean, it was guys. Everson Wall. It was guys that put it down that I adored.
The thing in my playing career I'm proudest of is blank. The resume item.
That I never let you down when you turned on the channel. You've never walked away from a game and said, man, Prime let me down this day. Never.
Deion, my father, Papi, wants to talk to you. He's pointing at you. He's been a big fan for a long time. What do you have for him, Papi?
This is a tough one, Deion. This guy throws you softballs. This is a fastball for you.
Fastball.
These guys.
Yeah, this guy. You know
Hurry
this
up,
guy.
throw the fastball, old man.
How did you get your name Prime Time? Your nickname Prime Time.
Nickname Prime Time come from Richard Fain, one of my best friends growing up. After the basketball game, I dropped 36 that night. Had a couple dunks back to back. The curl was bouncing and it looked wet, but it was dry. I dropped 36 on the way back on the bus to North Fort Myers High School. He said, you know what, dog? I said, what? He said, man, you Prime Time. I said, you right. That's when Prime Time was built. It was born that night.
I call that Prime Time, dinner time.
All right, very good. It's not funny. Thank you, Deion. We appreciate you being on. Thank you, sir.
Hey, you know what I love about Papi? You know what I love about Papi? Papi say your name twice, so you know it's nice. He say, Deion. He never says no one once. I like that about Papi.
Deion.
No one will ever accuse him of being efficient. No, look at you two. Oh, love affair.
Papi, I love my man. He's the man.
I'm glad to have you on my side.
See you later, Deion.
Yeah, one of our 52 viewers.
Yes, congratulations on being one of the 52.